Peace, peace, family. Come on in, come on in. It's all in love. Pray that everybody's doing well. Come on in when you come in, state your name and where you chiming in from. Appreciate that. So, peace, family, peace, family. Come on in, chime in. Let us know where you chiming in from. As you can see the title, Do Africans Live Off Black Americans' Energy? It's a simple question. It's all in love. It's all in love. And tonight will be comments only. No guests yet, just laying the foundation tonight. So, peace, family. This is Bullzeye Prime with ICY Things Media, and you see the topic for tonight. It's all in love. Are Africans living off the energy of Black Americans? Peace, peace, family. State where you chiming in from, your name. I appreciate that. So once again, comments only tonight. No guest in this portion. Just laying the foundation for tonight. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. I pray that everybody's doing well and that you are of an open mind and that you are able to receive the goodness that is being brought forth with good intention to set the foundation or help level the foundation so that everybody have equal footing to make their claim, because we know that right now the foundation is not equal and it's not even and it's not steady, and everybody's trying to argue off a falsehood. But hey, just come on in, family. We're going to talk about this tonight. Are Africans living off the energy of Black Americans? So, who benefits from Black Americans' culture? Do Black Americans even benefit from our own culture, our own image? Who benefits from, Black Americans' struggle, Black Americans' music, Black Americans' pain, and Black Americans' influence? Who benefits? But you know what? More important than that, who gave Black Americans proper credit and respect, or even protection, or uh, reciprocity? Thanks. Just asking. Like who? Like, like, we're gonna walk through this. Not if we deserve it or not, but just walk through this because this is what we're dealing with. Everybody. So when I define Black American energy, I'm more so speaking about the energy, or that force, that main force that comes from our culture. That main force that comes from our experiences, that some people claim that they are able to just tap into this Black American experience. And then I'm going to just inject this real fast and I'm going to expound upon it on another podcast, that the reality is you can play with it, but you really cannot have the Black American experience. And I say so called black because we throwing around this term that was, you know, labeled, we were labeled with, whether we utilized it, but we didn't utilize it to our detriment, but those that opposed us did utilize it to our detriment, to where we are walking around as though we have no identity. Nevertheless, for purposes of fishing, because this is what, many identify with, that's what we'll use interchangeably, but so-called Black Americans specifically. Okay. So that experience. Now, if you did not come from so-called Black American parents, you you can't really experience the so-called Black American experience. This goes for every people on the planet, but this is what we're talking about, so-called Black Americans. So if you did not come from the parents of so-called, whether they stayed together or not, you came from, unless you came from a test tube, or you know was grown in a patch or something. Hey, other than that, you know, you came from parents. Once again, whether one or both of them wandered off, you came from parents, and that too is part of the so-called Black American experience. There is no one Black American experience. I mean, it varies like the however many so-called Black Americans that exist, multiply that times 10, and we're being generous. Okay, so if you want to say 40 million, 50 million, whatever, I don't even believe in them numbers, I'm sorry, but let's just play with those. 40, 50 million times 10, you're talking about like 400 million different characteristics and personalities. Yeah, minimum, each one of us carrying like 10 different personalities that we got to, utilize in the day. you know so yeah, and then it don't stop there, because you don't truly get the experience if you didn't come from so-called Black American grandparents. You really can't get, so you really can't just jump into these this culture and then say, hey, I was called a nigger, and so I experienced it, or I got arrested, and so I experienced the Black American. Yeah, I got black friends, or whatever people are saying, because you're gonna view it through the lens of your own programming. However, you were programmed. So, if you were programmed, let's just say you Nigerian, you're gonna see everything. Even if you get arrested, you're gonna see it through the lens of a Nigerian uh, experience, something that so-called Black Americans experience. It's still not in the so-called Black American experience, because you're going to go home to your Nigerian parents, but that so-called Black American, he's going to go home to his Black American parents or parent and have to deal with his situation. And if he got grandparents involved, they all going to deal with that, since his experience is a little different from your experience. And that's just the way it goes. So, people, you think you can just jump and tap into people's, cultures because you experience one or two things, when that's just such a ignorant, blind way to see things. But you know, we express our experiences. We just been gifted, you know, to be able to express our experiences and our pains and so forth. So that's one of the questions when I say, Black American energy. Once again, it's that force that comes from our culture and experiences. You know, that force that comes from our oppression. You understand? Everybody is going to they're going to deal with oppression, being oppressed under force to do things that you don't want to do or would not normally do. That's oppression. Okay. Whether there's smiles on people's faces or not, oppression. Everybody's deal they did, because you got to realize it all starts in the mind first. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You think the way you think, that's what you are. You are what you think. So how you process your experience, you know, we process our experience. It's kind of like, and we're gonna deal with this on another podcast, like Godfrey, who, and it ain't just him, but mainly these African shows, so-called African shows, mainly centered around what so-called Black Americans are doing, and their experience cosplaying as a so-called Black American, and their how they successfully navigated cosplaying being a so-called Black American. And now that they're successful, they can come out and say, hey, I'm from Nigeria, I'm from Uganda, or I'm from, Sudanese, or, wherever they may be from. Even got the Haitians doing it and the Caribbeans doing it, which, you know, I know what's really going on to a certain extent. You have corrupt people in every people. You got just a group of corrupt people, even within my own people. I'm not hiding any of that. We have corrupt, wicked people amongst our own people. That's how our enemies get in through a certain portion of our own people. So, hey, not ignorant to that. And everybody do, you know. Nevertheless, that don't excuse the colonizers that's over here, colonizing us and oppressing us in our own land. Okay, because it's a different perspective. So it's a different perspective that some of us are trying to convey to some of y'all, and some of y'all don't want to understand because it's your job not to understand. Your job is to push the opposite narrative, or to keep people asleep, to keep them just, hey, everything, don't worry about that, don't even listen to that, do not change what you've been doing. Okay, just keep on thinking the way you've been thinking, and we are going to take care of everything for you. Just let us handle it. It's enough people not going for that anymore. Okay, because we've been seeing where things been going. But our oppression is our oppression. It's just like, y'all have these groups and y'all sit around and y'all talk about, and I'm gonna tell y'all that when we so-called Black Americans, the real ones, just when we sit around, we don't look like that. Y'all look goofy. You know what I'm saying? And y'all look like a pack of valley white girls, talking about your valley experience with the black guys. Yeah. Y'all, we don't, you know, I'm just saying, y'all even cosplaying that, but we don't talk about stuff like that. Cause I know I'm just, I'm saying that, hey, because I know it's important for y'all to make sure y'all get it right and try to get it exact. But y'all been studying the wrong. Um, they had y'all study the wrong ones. They steered y'all away from us. You know, they not like us. They not like us. They steered y'all away from us. They led y'all to these actors and these corny people, and y'all modeled yourself off of them. And that's why y'all scratching your head like, who the hell are these people that keep opposing everything that we say? I thought they were supposed to be laid down by now, in submission, ready for us to just utilize as damn our own personal slaves. Why are they still awake? Why are they opposing us? That's because y'all was studying the wrong ones. Yeah. Even Godfrey, you know the Mockingbird, he was studying the wrong ones. That's why he's confused. Like, I don't, you know I'm not gonna say too much and give away too much, but nevertheless, the Black American energy that comes from our creativity, from our survival. You know that, like Destiny Child, I'm a survivor, I'm gonna give up, getting harder. You can resonate with that, right? If you was going through that type of oppression and yet still never gave up, never stopped believing that you was gonna overcome. I'm a survivor. That's you know, that's not running. That's standing up. Survival. We have had to survive everybody. Now we having to survive everybody, but it's been that way. But what's happening is we just waking up to the different levels of people that's been operating against us, and the amount of people to where it really feels like that we have no allies. When I say we have no allies, meaning, number one, first and foremost, you have to look out for yourself. As we get to know self, number one. And where are we leading ourselves? Or are we allowing someone to continue to lead us down this path that we obviously see is not working? I think we passed that frog in the pot, the boiling pot. Before it boils, it heats up slowly, and so it seems like it's cool until it really starts to boil and then want to jump out. But I think we even passed that. But the force that comes from you, who wants that? That's why it's good to just mimic, but who wants to get it? Who wants to get that pain? Or who wants to get that song? Or who wants to get that passion from having to go through struggling situations where you barely survive? People like, nah, just give me the just give me the story. And I use my imagination from there. And then the real secret is people don't want to hear about our struggles because This is like a gem because we developed who we are from resisting their disrespect and their mockery and their, if you will, hatred. That's how we develop this immunity against certain things, and to develop this thick skin to where we can laugh at things that once made us cry. So the way we speak, nobody speaks. It's not, it's authentic. That's why nobody really wants to hear us speak, but because most times people don't want to hear the truth. And even through our curse words, we, it's just a raw form of telling you, I'm cutting through the bullshit and just letting you know directly, forget this spell of this, the way you utilize the English language sometimes, and let's get to it. This is what I mean. So the force that emanates from our rhythm, that people sometimes are able to draw to themselves, an energy, a spirit, and utilize it. It can rest upon them and it can remove itself. But people of other nations and nationalities and tribes and so forth are able to come amongst us and absorb that sometimes, and with enough practice, you know and discipline, and proving that they really want it, they can learn to dance. They can learn to bob their head like our babies that come out the womb. For real. you know our music is like authentic, meaning it came from experiences that you don't want to necessarily experience, even though there are some rich people, ultra rich people, that go and pay to get beat just so they can feel worthy of having the money they have. Okay. You can pay me. But our music, you know like, if you really care about music, knowing that music is frequency, is energy, which has the power and the ability to make a person shapeshift and change who they are. That's the power of music, if you allow it to, good or bad. But our music are the frequencies of our experiences that you can only imitate. No different than we so-called Black Americans going over to wherever you are in your particular country. Let's say so-called Africa, 54 countries in that one continent, and then just uh, started claiming credit because we could, and one day we might do that. You know, we might just I don't know how the universe gonna run it. We might just start showing you all the things that you think came from you, but it actually came from us. They not like us. They not like us. So the Black American energy that that energy that came from the pain, you know, I don't know. I don't even watch a lot of movies now, so well, especially so-called black movies, you know, because they have, as far as I was concerned, they have like stripped out the soul, the truth, the soul of what of our true experiences, where they don't move me, they don't, they don't, they don't call me and make me want to change one way or the other, because they're not authentic. But the pain that we went through and we still go through, the things that you don't even really want to tap into, the pain of the mothers who's losing their sons, worried at night if the son's gonna come back, the daughter too, just the pain of having children today. There's millions of us coming up missing. It's in the news. I mean, Google it. Millions, all type of things happening to us. So, you know, and that been going on for generations. That pain in our DNA, passed down through the DNA, from the great grandmothers to the grandmothers to the fathers, you know, just a mix of traumas, plurals, you know. And so we learn to adapt, and many of our people have given up. That's why you see him doing all type of things, giving himself over to strange people, doing strange things because they have given up, or they ain't real in the first place. We got people that are not even real, meaning they like NPCs, non-player characters, programs. So, you know, but our pain is real. That pain, you know, that pain that the world's been taught we don't have. That's why, you know, we don't. A lot of us don't want to go to doctors, because of things that the doctors um, have done to us and our people, and the experimentations. These books has been written like medical apartheid. You know, when there were no laws that prevented them from doing anything under the sun to us, especially our women. So you talking about pain that you think that you can just step into and claim, and so that's what happens sometimes. It's kind of like, you know, what Godfrey's dealing with as we speak. He wanted to be the king of the so-called Black Americans. Well, to be the king of this energy, you got to know how to ride that bull. And as you can see, um, ain't nobody on that bull. That bull done bucked everybody, because the truth is, the leader of the so-called Black Americans is within each one of them. So it wasn't meant to ride that bull. So you want to ride that bull, you start getting that dark negative energy that comes along with being a so-called Black American. Because we got dark negative energy attached to us as a people, you know, whether it was uh, manufactured or just things that we actually have within us, you know, and that'll make me ashamed, because I still understand how we are part of the greatest people on the planet. with our faults and with the portion of our people who um they they may never wake up, not in this lifetime, you know. So those are the ones that's definitely utilized against those that's trying to make positive progress. So Black American energy is not just entertainment, you know. Black American energy is music, it's hip hop, it's R&B, things that you have Africans claiming that they invented. I mean, y'all beyond disrespectful. We talking about jazz, we talking about rock and roll. Black Americans invented. We even reggae. I'm gonna do a whole episode on reggae to help you understand that reggae was born and birthed from so-called Black Americans music. Bob Marley, he admitted out his own mouth that he sat by speakers, him and his members, studying Black American artists. Now when it came out, um, he gave the version that he gave, and he sounded how he sounded, and I loved it. You know, one of my favorite artists. But the truth of the matter is, it came from so-called Black Americans music. You know, so if you love Bob Marley and you love reggae, just know that yeah, that's so-called Black Americans music. Even this, uh, um, um, what do y'all have? Afro beats. I'm like, yeah, that's our music. You just took it and transformed it. I mean, uh, and took our other brothers' music and intermingled it and try to claim it as something new. I'm like, yeah, when I hear it, some of it I like because I'm listening to our music. But okay, that's another show. But that's all us. That's all our energy, you know, the blues, the soul music, the comedy. Remember, like, I mean, do we really got to go down the line of comics? Even when they set up Def Jam Comedy, took the streets, hip hop, and comedy and made and turned it into something totally new. Transformed it. The style that we have, the sports. Like we're not getting credit for any of this. While it takes place before people's eyes, the inventions that we created. Over 50,000 inventions. The street language. Like where that come from, like you know, code, speaking in code, knowing that we got people and enemies and people that don't desire us any good and people that desire to see us fall around. So we got to speak in a certain type of code. So we develop these things out of trying to survive. This ain't just, happenstance. So asking the question, are the Africans living off the black Americans' energy? Like, what are we? I can ask the question, but I know there's an answer that can be given, and not it won't necessarily be the true answer, but a person can give an answer to every question. So why even go there? So how about the things that we offer and have offered and still offer to the world is not being heard, is being willfully and consciously denied. And so the universe is going to speak, you know. But this is just the part one. And the next one coming up shortly. Make sure you subscribe so you get notifications. I'm gonna open up the panel. Okay. But everything I said is verifiable. And there's no if you looking for it, there's no escaping it. All you can go do is try to hide and act like it ain't what it is. But since we are not meant to fight certain battles certain ways, certain things, you know, have to be done for us through the elements, through nature, as you know, the existence of these forces help us to survive and overcome and to stand this last stand of colonizing from all angles, especially so-called Africans who's cosplaying us and playing before our eyes. So it's our job to do what nobody's going to do for us, and nor should they do for us, which is to start asking ourselves questions. Start asking ourselves questions. Because we have to learn to love ourselves. And it sounds like a cliche. But this world, this place that we're in, this prison planet, is not designed. We wasn't born into a world that was meant to positively develop us, you know, um, without a fight and resistance. The only ones that benefit with no resistance, well, you got to realize even the ones that have power still lose sleep. You know, they still got to deal with worries, worldly worries. Why? Because of how they obtain what they got. It's called karma. It just never stops. Thinking they can escape it, but there's none. Nah, not the way this. Yeah, you know, like the way it was set up. Good or bad. So, you know, we do good things, we should expect good things. So that's the end of part one right here. And just like I said, stay tuned and I appreciate everyone who did take time out. I know there's so many rooms, but I was just moved to go, the time I did, and let me go find out what's going on in some of these other rooms myself. But yeah, appreciate everybody coming through. Just look out, and love you all. ICY Thingz. Let's keep it going.